going to get a tablet from Target, but they ignored me once again. And after I used the two venture cards, after I returned to PNC Bank, where I transferred the money that I had in my savings account to my checking, after I did a $5 deposit one night before I wrote three transactions of papers that were missing the night before. I went back to the three teams football mid-season high week high energy related to other sport in another team uh, outside relation to the outside of the relation to a low week versus a different versus the official two teams. The official two teams go back to preseason colors year before 555, before Valentine Day, in between 2 points that might separate something in between that means something completely different in the same frame outside of whatever box associates with thing around that frame in the position of motion related to other things in the world outside a map or something that connects different pieces uh, outside the area that the information is related to inside another box that is not accessible to other figures who are related to platforms that are not associated with the power level that they claim that the law is not involved to their intervention with commercials at a time they didn't exist before they claim something in the world happened without a championship or date that's associated with something that someone claims they didn't exist at a time that they want to be in amazement of something that other people are not aware that they wanted to tell people that his behavior is not because he's crazy but because someone was actually attacking him at a time he was building his life at his first job when he was 15, and someone was saying that because they were not American, they were trying to get access to him for free because they claimed that their property was worth nothing when they tried to get big money using security that was not related to their identity when they claimed that the boy can't secure himself by law because they had racial intentions against him when they locked him in the psych hospital because they claimed they wanted him to fear them. That's why when he got off the station, the lady said that she told him to put his card in a certain way because she claims that she wanted to have power and a hidden thing that not everybody gets along, and times people might have a vendetta saying that they're getting safety and secret associated with how they wanted to put a boundary around someone because they claim when they evicted him from his apartment it wasn't rightful when they claimed that I watched First 48 at a time that there might be a courtroom movie, there might be a Mario 16 that might relate to a different frame of a TCL outside of the Naruto after Turtle, before All Dogs Set, would be in a different information file of one more special night would be the night where something could be in the present of today being the 7th and Friday, but then there would be a different account of the morning after the bread was made for the first time that would associate with after the big pot before I walk halfway to the Walmart the other day, yesterday, before I found a way to make a transaction when I didn't have nothing. As long as I can make one transaction, it's big enough to influence a whole security for my whole life for a need that's not related to a population of goods and items where someone could put a frame around something in America that might uh, inhabit something that causes a distribution of wealth that is not associated to something that someone claims is outside of their non existing reality that they think they're eligible to lock someone up because I can't fight for the law related to me being 8 years old in 99 when they attacked me at a young age and locked me in a psych hospital claiming that I had nobody to speak to when I had to fight for my rights skillfully using technology and my intelligence, my movies, my stories, my young life, hence my belief in God, because they might have attacked me for a specific reason that they claim couldn't be identified at the time. I had to put my playlist, my YouTube history to prove my belief of the difference of my reality that someone might have tried to get a lawsuit for themselves off of my heritage that they say is not related to them, not knowing the difference of what they claim they're trying to ensure themselves using the security that they didn't create, or saying that they already existed in a time frame that's not associated with something that they claim they wanted me to fear them at a time they claim I couldn't get the last justice of the district. So that's why when I see that anything in this place wouldn't be when I place my TCL in the same place as my Air Force debit card, because they claim that when I was supposed to have money for my credit card deducted, but it wasn't deducted on a certain day. But they claim it's the 7th today, and it said that it was going to deduct things on the 5th. But with my TCL phone gone, I couldn't log in to get that, so I had to spend my money elsewhere. Because when they locked me in the psych hospital, they tried to damage my credibility, claiming that I couldn't mirror the reality. Because when they say that I had a mental illness and I couldn't talk to nobody in society or join the military, because they claimed they were trying to get the best of me at a time. They say that they can't be judged for the taxes and the reality that they claim that I can't pay, because they're trying to make me. And keep in mind, I had to get naked in the hospital. They're trying to leave me in the cold, leave me in the dust, leave me with no building, no sleep, no property to communicate, no base to get to a level, because they claim I wasn't aware that they were trying to insure themselves off of me, because they did exist in secret when they claimed they were trying to report me to the police for their safety, that they can see others in secret related to the difference of they claim is not American value and wealth. They claim is not identified for things that they tried to destroy, and say that they wanted to be recognized off of things that they didn't build. That's why when someone claims they might have had a vendetta against me, they might have been many rich people and many players, but they claim they had a vendetta against me because they couldn't compete with people who say they wanted a lawsuit using my identity that's not related to their own reality and safety, that others can't have that stage they claim is related to them not existing at a time. They say their safety is related to a warning that they can try to record people and relate to values that is not related to their belief in American levels that they say they want to inherit for a time they didn't exist, or something they claim is not related to values like D-Day, or why people join the military, or why someone tries to put a box around a young man saying that he can't go nowhere because they might even try to kill him, but said that God can't prove his domain, because they're claiming that they are trying to have an identity that other people can't address, because they're trying to get a freebie that's not related to American history, and the process they claim wasn't evident when they were in secret at a time, that they want to be eligible for something that I won't allow for my American heritage. That's where when some people will even identify me as not American after they tried to deform me at a young age, because they didn't want me to have my young love when I listened to Jacquees and the new Marquess with the birds and the colors on it that might not have been in the box of the last day when I woke up after the 7th will be the day after the bread, and the day before I ate the chickpeas, and I think there was a time I ate yellow chicken, but I ate the chickpeas in between the night before and whatever, finishing off my purple bars with the coughs that I made all the way to the target bench when I almost died when they ignored me, because I had to shoot out to walk somewhere else, because I couldn't make a transaction that's in the size of this tablet, on the size of when they evicted me or tried to lock me in the hospital, saying that I couldn't be seen for my belief in America and my rights of domain and human rights of my belief in God. That's why every time when I get to this level, sometimes I was very insurance on my poetry and my music, because there was a lot of times when I did my singing and then I couldn't put it in a frame of a box, because there was many breakthroughs related to the three con girl versus the one in the T, that would put a different domain of the different papers that were there in between whatever Bible under the Indian, and then whatever ham on top before the boot, and the subway was in between the rock from the subway and be inside the target after whatever type of walk down, singing down after the Drew Social Security that wasn't in attacks before this year, or any time that they try to relate to me in the present off of social media, or any type of list that's not related to a private domain, where they try to enter me in a psych system and find my information and separate me from society that's not related to their belief and reality and their presence of thoughts of God, that's not associated with white culture or commercials that I couldn't access at a time to prove my belief in love, life, and God when they claimed that I had to fear them because they were adults related to people with weapons in the hospital when I had nobody to call. Because even there was times when there was an Apple placement in TCL, that might in between that there would be a time frame related to maybe a time the first month after I got my yellow boots, the first 15th, in between any going back to years before January, where there would be playoffs and not the finals in a high tick. Because I also mentioned something about a PNC when I mentioned the NBA dunk contest, Gordon versus the guy with the purple, because when I mentioned it after I returned to the PNC Bank area after I got off the train, it was in a different connection to returning to the theater after yesterday when I mentioned a similarity of how the people in between the buildings shift. When I mentioned the recordings after the helicopter was after the people came out the door. When I mentioned the church and the Mario 16 was after the white guy was following me, and then it was before whatever mermaid marine was already returned to the location of Latifah and Whoopi would be the ultimate Sister Act ending, where I debated the 5 scenes where there was a Gilbert, but then I'm also mentioning a lot of differences of how other people would relate to my singing and my belief in God and my poetry that I didn't want people to steal, because it could relate to the chronological, the list, the library that would relate to YMCA or whatever type of a list that would register with some being that was outside of a box when I have to make a playlist of that media, so that when that playlist pops up in an information system related to other media, I have to separate it with how it tries to put a boundary on me that bad that someone would try to lock me in a psych hospital to try to relate to one video that nobody else is on with the information of 1,000 things that has nobody registered to how that might be trying to steal my identity or associate with other people that's not related to them non-existing. When I got locked in the hospital at time, I had to get myself out because when I related something about IHOP to after this plane's ride, and then there was a something about a certain building that was built over there when they was making IHOP commercials and things, claiming that I can't see the difference of where those commercials are located and how they might try to relate to a mood for themselves that is not related to other human beings. When the guy in the district got respect, and I couldn't relate those old videos to something that happened in between those times, because the playlists and the comments are not associated with my playlist and my message list and my text messages that I can't find, because they claim they just could delete it for free, saying I can't access those to find my information of the arrangement of those files and the year and date it was made, to the memories and emotion that relate to whatever media that might have been at an age in my life that already released 30 years before, 70 years before I was a certain age, before 2025, after whatever connection of any file outside of this frame that could be placed in any note or any text message or anything that I can access other information without having a collection of things trying to steal my identity by not knowing the difference of where that is framed in whoever race or whatever position is not allowed to record on a certain level that they say is not related to the arrangement of my own file. Love, this time I love your body, what you feel right now. Can you sing a song to me if you wanna be? It's everything if you feel it too. Cause one is a repetition of love. Let's get it if you feel that much above you. Say hi for me, and we can get it in your fantasy like oh. Oh, that's all I want you to know. In your body, if you reach for it, you gonna get it. And if the devil try to get it, don't let him cut. A little something, some people like to have a little player card too. Some of these ladies I never sing with I requested someone with green eyes who seems every time my poetry come, I become a different human being. Or the videos start relating to a different, with like Adam and Eve, not Adam, not Adam and the ghost man, you see. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm gonna do my singing. Some people don't really realize, yeah, the guy had the little bones, but it's the process of little thing that relate to how the human structure. When I was at the return to the train station on the platform, it means that there was thoughts there after 3 days, and when I first started the platform, there was days after 3 days before. That 3 days after will be a time frame where I could go in between 2 points in between those days, and I might even go further to the Marine, and then further down to the now center, and then I might go up to the dollars that were pointing different ways when I entered it on the payday, when they say that they were trying to get the best of me, trying to make me spend my money because I was supposed to get a credit card, but they didn't charge me the money, so I sent something fishy. Who do I talk to if the District movie and the 2048 and all those in between, the old movies and the cartoon, all the between the video game and the information site where I place my website outside of eBay and WhatsApp and any other connection of Visa and Vanilla Card and T-Mobile that might not relate to how I could place this information in a place where I can link it to my other account, because they claim they could try to make it not public, because when I have something on there, they claim that when they left me in the hospital, I didn't have nobody to talk to when they try to steal my information and say that I couldn't find my Google account because they claim they could just take my account with the T-Mobile, saying that I can't request that number because they claim I can't secure it, because they claim they could kick me out, and say that when they evicted me, they claimed that they were saying that they didn't exist, trying to record people because it might relate to someone saying that they wanted to see in secret, but I don't even know you. So how do you have the power to do that? I can't live in HUD housing if you have that power, saying that I can't have my rights in God to have protection because I had my first job when I was 15 and had to fight for my belief in law. When all these people have seen me walk around with my coat for 2 months after, I had to tell it was a bad move because they claimed that when I was in this area, the four things around the Jews, the white people, the black people at the corner right there on the fire hydrant and the Target, and then the four type of districts that relate to the different police, the Chattanooga and the Rock there would relate to the two mentions in between the socks and the time that the last thing, because I have to get in my zone. So sometimes when I mention woman, it might be a height, or it might be someone outside of a video that might not come up in that list of my emotion, that someone might try to put a frame of saying that I didn't mention how someone got KO, but they get to return in that list without other people because I can't remember that list in days after it existed in between 2025 and 2024, where there would be 5 different parts of a year when the Valentine Day gets closer, but the closer to the championship in 2 days after the rise, which is dissimilar to 2005, 2025, without any evidence of any different part of the year and world that it didn't relate to any presidency or any rise of any time of year that's not accounted to President's Day or whatever type of connection people try to make to my reality that's not associated with their race or whatever they say I'm not eligible for, because I didn't have that stuff growing up. I never could watch that stuff. So some people might get angry and try to attack my life because they had that stuff and they was flaunting around, but I knew the difference of what was in front of me and what God made for me. When someone tries to say that they're stalking me, trying to say that they want to get a reality because they were addressed by people and they were exposed for something they claimed that they wanted to get comfortable in others, but I didn't allow you because I don't know you and I don't want to know you. That's why I want to make my video on my pattern. What is for someone to stop that I can't make American rights when I joined the Air Force when I was 19, but they try to lock me in a psych hospital saying that I couldn't fight for liberal rights to my belief in God and all my recordings and all. It took me my whole life to put my blue camera in the Walmart and get to that level where it could associate with all the thoughts in between those times, and after 2017 and after 20 and the championship after 2005 and a different time of year, that the quadrilateral of the 4 outside of 5 is a different time where it might be something in a different location where I might have reviewed old videos in this year, might have reviewed them old before I had my return to my T-Mobile account after 2 years. I might have reviewed them in different times, and I might have accessed them in different frames, that if I put patterns in here, they'll be like, oh, what did the patterns update? Because even the patterns in someone's media might not allow me to find the information that relates to what I believe in God, because I might even like a video recorder in my body type and my tall type more than I like something in a video that I have to separate, because when they try to attack me, they claim they were trying to be unpleasurable when they couldn't compete with other people, but they were trying to stop me, saying they want a law for something they claimed they were trying to rise against against me, but they were hiding from other men, saying that they didn't even live the life like that. When I had to go through those things, saying that they wanted to be eligible by trying to leave secret and stalk me because they were afraid of people, because they were trying to put themselves in false positions that they weren't eligible in reality. That's why when I say that we see, because sometimes when I get to this level, I know that when I do my poetry and my music, the frame that it's in is different than Houston. It could put thoughts or whole thoughts. It could put a whole thoughts. A main person will put a whole thoughts. But what if the list was distinguished from things from my real life at a certain age, where they was stalking me years and 17? After whatever people 24 try to return without evidence of an account that this could be logged in to upload, or it could be linked to upload, or it could be I could end this video with the link name Maurice Rogers 10 dot 10, and it will be like, how would I know what social security or what age or what type of institution will relate to the purchase of that box, and how whatever social will relate to my phone number related to whatever information that's outside of the state that could possibly find a recognition of where I am or how I'm associated with a security. That this device, when they had me blaze my device, where would I put something else when they claim that they want to return to a place that they didn't exist at the time they warn people of what they're eligible for and have rights to, that is not lawful, related to other shows that might pop up in the registry that happened in the first TCL, but it didn't start distributing until after the second TCL was placed, and a couple nights after that, in between whatever, cool down the girl dancing before, whatever mentions of a light girl, B-sides, whatever specification of the one who was the fish lady, and whatever line of those things relate to the different parts of recording to similar things of commercials 10 years after New Stars, after those old things already portrayed something from the Jackson Cat before, whatever connection of that relates to something of some attack that was long ago before the 90s. They try to return to the future after they say that something in the world might have happened related to an event or a human being or a Google or a list of something, that I don't look at people on Google after those things, because it puts them in a box where some of the people who attacked me, they were the ones who were trying to relate to that thing, and I can't remember how they're trying to get out, because they would relate to a big line of those attacks. But what if they try to get out of that boundary and try to relate themselves to other people, because they claim they did exist and they were trying to contract people and they weren't eligible for that? But what if people in secret wanted to be contract, but they try to get a lawsuit for something that they claim was not true, because they claimed they wanted to be eligible for something that they claimed they couldn't be real, because when it was Union, how was they in the mirror with the Perry? Because that would be a different recording from Meet the Fogger with Quentin Tiva, and then whatever Sister 2 will be in a list of heart on a commercial that wouldn't be in other time frames, a movie of whatever Little John Almighty will relate to people who are not eligible to view things, who claim that a race or culture or belief in God is not associated with any reality that could be found after I put the toothpaste on the ice in a different frame that would relate to the time frame, where something in between might relate to a writing on a paper or a symbol on a paper or a group of collections of paper that might remind of something in this time frame, and then I might zero in on something that might put a different time frame that was before any videos that I reviewed this year, after they might not have a connection with my account, and then any frame of motion from up girl to down. I love your body, your face, and you run for my sound. So it's like sometimes when it gets cracking, I like to, even in the Roku, and it might not pop up on Facebook, and then the device might not pop up in the algorithm, because it might, when I look at the algorithm, sometimes when I think of women and I think of my media, I like to arrange it in ways that might mean something completely different when something is around, when I don't like people to be lame, and I don't like them to record me in ways that I didn't ask when I have to do a song, because it's like sometimes when I mention the sad, it means that I could get unlock a different These ladies, they might like a face recording, and the difference than the roadway that might be in a music video that relates to things that they claim wouldn't be eligible at a young age. When they say that people might even be related recordings, it might not even be related to their real life. They might be trying to stalk me when I was a young man, saying that they locked me in the hospital because they didn't want me to find my young love. When that was the light girls turn on me, but that was still mixed girl. The green girl might turn on me, but that was still the I'ma lose speech at the train, because they claim people might even get jealous when one of my stereotype of the difference of how to get a load, the nigga had to go by the side of the train where you unlock it, and then would have to relate to why I might want to be eligible for that type of thing. That I don't want people to say that the fiddler on the roof, the guy when they didn't even they ignored me at the Target again. That's why I had to go to the cell phone authority to get a replacement in the transaction. I don't like McDonald's and Subway because it make people fat. But when I crossed the street to there was a different business transaction, so we could see how I do on this new number, the 224-882-8149, because they claim that when I do this video, it means that I could also say that how could I find my information if they claim that they could just steal my account, and say that there is no way that I could put a playlist for my information of how it is arranged, because just because people put two things in a box, they say that I can't point the difference of the list of things from one main video that might be a certain way, one main movie is not on Facebook, video is not on Roku, on YouTube, the TCL is not on a certain frame, that they might say that they're trying to connect 2 points and things that completely different outside of a Wikipedia list with a $20 missing outside of whatever 700 device with the people on the line for whatever separation from that leave of the 700 kiosks. Fell after I made this video on my Apple phone after the return to the Jeremiah placement. That would be also my TC the phone from the on phone, which would be different from the Power Rangers before, whatever type of list transfers in between someone trying to collect that information, where I can't show the difference of the figure in the video, the object in the video, the name in the video, the height that I was, the age that I was, the time in between events, the time in between files, that could also point out how I collect that information and put it in the dates, different than someone who claims that they want to disturb the peace and say that I can't prove my sound and my belief of how they try to warn me that it's not true, and try to say that they're stalking me because they can't be peaceful and a sound for themselves, because they want to blame me for saying that they couldn't have a reality when I expressed my constant belief since I was young. That's how it goes, son. When I was young, I used to think of a girl with a face like a jewel. She spreads her arms, wings like a flower. Girl, do you see her worth in your... When I sing, I'm like, man, I'm not really singing to a man, or I'm not really singing to like a registry, but I can sing to the registry. But what if I was preparing my information where I could present it to a girl? Because when a guy was in the show, it was one of the one that popped up after the TCL algorithm, and they say that she was trying to get him to kiss his boo. I told him, don't do that. That would be disrespectful. He ended up biting her on the leg. So some revelation people don't like when I'm accurate with the ass and all that nonsense. They were trying to tell people that stalking me and hiding things even after all these days out of nowhere, saying you have 24/7 to do that. You don't have no life for yourself, but you offended at me. So it's been times when they almost killed me with the police. That's how they were arresting me, put me in a psych hospital, and they was putting me 3 years for a court date. And that's why I'd be like, wow, it's not really good, because that's why when I got to that time, I was like, how is it that I could do my poetry? Because sometimes you might have girls that were young, but the same age that I was when I was 8 years old at a young age. And then they say that when I turned to 33 in this year, I didn't even mention the Lord this time, because the last time when I watched Mario 16, I could end this file and I could put a frame on it, and that would be my format, because I said present the format in the way that would be eligible for the teacher, because that's how it's presented, in a way that the information is worth something, because it's not listed in a way that someone says that it's invaluable to a law that might reflect to someone's belief and decision about separation from bags. And I even got a Metro Verizon 3 month.